equivalent to a quarter of the debt. Half of the debt is student loan.
Yeah, student loans are a bitch.
A quarter of it is business debt, and a quarter of it is personal debt.
Yeah. I mean, I've recently gone from borderline unable to pay my debtors on a monthly basis to a slightly more comfortable position now where it's just a huge pain in the ass.
You shouldn't pay them at all.
Yeah, well,
unfortunately, I mean, that, yeah, I wish I didn't have to, but I'll be honest with you, I guess I do want to maintain my credit rating.
I mean,
I guess that's really what it comes down
I
to.
mean, and you know what? No, because here's the thing is that, like, sometimes, like, I know what you're about to say and what you're about to go into, but, like, sometimes it's just easier to play the game in that regard. Like, you know, just keep your credit score up. Just keep it, like, you know, like...
Wait, why did I...
You know, like,
where did you get the idea of your credit score going down? Where did that come from?
Because it does go
Not paying
down.
your debt.
Yeah.
What if I could tell you how to legally discharge any debt?
I mean...
That'd be interesting. But the thing is, I did acquire this debt. Like, I stupidly, before I was educated, you know, even to the minimal extent that I am now, educated about bankers and Federal Reserve notes and this whole concept of fiat currency. You know, I bought the chicken wings at Landmark and Otts.
Exactly.
I stupidly used my credit card to get those things. So I do want to claim responsibility, pay these scumbags back, and then never have them in my life
do it
again.
again.
Sheep, listen to you. You're stuck in a box. That's exactly how they want you to think. All right, now tell me, why do you think you're obligated to pay this debt?
Because I elected to use their fake money
Yes.
when they gave me the card and the authority to do
They
so.
didn't lend you anything. They didn't lend you any fake
No,
money.
they didn't. But their authority that was afforded to them through this.
All they did was
bullshit system we have.
authorize a transaction.
I understand they didn't,
They didn't
do
lend
anything.
you anything. So why do you have to pay them back with Federal Reserve notes?
Because
As if that's a remedy, because you should have to pay with lawful money, but we're not allowed to. So I wish you could write them a little note that says, yeah, I'll pay you back, but I can't pay debt with more debt.
I consider maybe it's just to prove a point because I'm an honest John. At least I try to be as much as possible. If you sell me a flat screen TV, you may have stolen it out of someone's apartment, which is fucked up.
Right.
But you're going to name your price and I'm going to pay you for that TV. Now, if I find out later, hey, they stole that, you shouldn't pay them anything. I'm still going to pay you, but you know it's on you that you committed that criminal activity.
Okay,
Exactly.
what if I stole a TV that was worth $400 and I sold it to you saying you can give me $420 next year.
Okay.
Next year comes and you get a bill in the mail for $700.
Okay.
What do you do?
I try to inquire as to why you're asking for $300 more.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying. That's the first step in this process.
Well, it's all explained to us
But it
as
is
per the
explained
contract.
to you
I
as
mean,
per the contract of interest.
I did not
And-
engage in these contracts with these credit card companies thinking that they weren't trying to screw me. I mean,
Right.
even without knowledge,
You
of
didn't
fiat
engage in any
currency.
contract with these credit companies in the first place.
Did I
If you,
not? Well,
that's again part of this process. I'm hearing a lot of negativity from you. You're very, you're not
yeah,
helping.
Well, here's the thing. It's not so much about not paying what we owe. It's about being more educated from here on in and not acquiring more fake
Right.
debt, which is what I've
Exactly.
done. I haven't used a credit card in months, you know? And that, I mean,
You know what? Like, I know that it's weird, and like I've even said it to my wife before, like about how, you know, she wants me to use the credit card, but we pay the credit card off every month,
Right.
So it's our money. So
why
like
not
I
just use the
right.
money?
So I always say that to her, and you know, because she gets like points and like whatever, all this, you know, like
yeah, the
you know, like all the other crazy incentives. So like, you know, like technically, like I'm using their fake money, but I have this money to. So I'm like, you know, I always say, because I'm always just like, why don't I just use the debit card instead of the credit? You know, it's the points. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that's the thing. Like I use a credit card, but it's still my money.
the problem with that point thing is that, you know, it's costing us more in the end. We create this more fake. Because I don't really understand it as much as I'd like to, but when I open up a credit card account, so let's say I sign on the dotted line today, I create a new credit line for $1,500. I've just helped to devalue the U.S. dollar because I've created a new fake line of fake money. Is that correct?
That money isn't actually created until you send them Federal Reserve notes.
Right. Exactly.
Until you deposit money in the bank to send it over to them. That's
then-
when the money's created.
And then what happens after that? After there's too much money, what happens then?
We'll still utilize it. It's just that we'll be carrying around.
But it'll be worth less.
But isn't that the problem? There's literally not enough physical money to pay them back for the debt that they've
Is it true? I don't know this. I remember hearing this when I was in like elementary school or whatever, that like we actually have no idea how much money is in circulation.
I don't think they do know exactly. They may have an idea.
Like, yeah. Like, I just remember hearing that, like, you know, like a long ass time ago. Like, some teacher of mine told me, and I was just like, wow. It was like one of those things that stuck in my head.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's true. I know that it's pretty well confirmed that there's not nearly enough money to cover our debt. So, in other words, our country would kind of go bankrupt if everybody got their act together and started paying all their bills on time.
Okay, so I'm hearing a lot of negative from you guys. So you're really not interested in learning how to legally discharge any debt?
I'm very much interested. I just I want to make it clear that I take responsibility for my stupid actions of running up that debt in the first place. I'm not trying to skate away from responsibility.
Listen to yourself. Just like those people in the military, you've been tricked. You've been lied to.
But you played your part in devaluing the currency by using those credit cards. Whether or not you knew it at the time, the bottom line is, as a sovereign individual, you should have known it at the time. We didn't. We co-conspired with these banks to help create this fake currency. I'm not saying I'm not excited and straight up giddy at the idea of screwing them and saying, fuck you, I ain't going to pay you. I think that's awesome.
It's not going to screw them at all. This is totally legal. This is a completely lawful process.
Awesome.
And it's done all the time.
No doubt. Yeah. Absolutely.
I can save you thousands of dollars by doing this, and you're not interested. You're going to keep on working and paying them back, even though you don't have to. They never loaned you anything, and you think that because they authorized the transaction that they loaned money to this person and that their finance charges are...
I am interested. I'm not explaining to you why I'm not interested. I'm telling you why I'm not trying to say that I didn't play a part in it. But the other thing is, the main thing that I would be hesitant about is the harassment that these bankers can inflict upon you when you fail to pay. Now, have you worked a way around that? Have you worked a way around the constant phone calls that are inevitable? If you miss a credit card bill by 2 days, they start calling you and harassing you.
All you have to do is submit the proper form.
Okay.
There's a form that you have to get, and you have to fill it out and send it to them. And it basically says, due to this section of the Fair Debt and Credit Reporting Act and blah, 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 you are not authorized to call my residence. You are not authorized to contact me in any way. Any attempt to contact me will be considered harassment, and I will have no choice but to follow suit.
But by you engage in a contract with them, they're obviously authorized to contact you. I mean, that's part of what you signed when you authorized.
That's an assumption. Objection, Your Honor. That assumption requires evidence that has not been submitted to this court. And this contract that you speak of, in most cases, does not even exist. So where is the contract?
No, but I mean, it does exist. Like, and you know what's funny, because I remember having a conversation with you at the bar about this, and I came home and I was like telling Dawn a little bit about it, and she was like, oh yeah, not only do I have like a copy of our contract, but now a lot of credit card companies are putting them online.
Sure.
So even though if there isn't a physical copy, you can go to their website and click on, like what your contract says. And there's
you can go online and you can find a copy of the contract that says that Barack Obama owes me $30,000, but that doesn't fucking make it so. You need to see a a wet ink signature on this contract.
Unless you agreed to online paperless type, because there's all kinds of wording and legalese worked in there. I can almost guarantee you that when you clicked OK to paperless statements, you probably agreed to something as like, and to the effect of, we can show you your contract online. And that's valid.
I'm pretty sure that the credit card companies somewhere in their thing are allowed to take your firstborn if they want. I'm pretty sure that.
I'm totally down with the idea of demanding, because that's not what you're talking about is absolutely legit, Britt. That you should be able to demand that they show you the contract that you agreed to, and they should be able to come up with that. Like you said,
it's not about showing me. It's not about showing me. It's about showing the judge who's going to be trying the case.
So what happens if they do produce said document?
Then you look like an asshole in front of the judge.
No, there is no such document in most cases. And if there is such a contract, if I agreed to be able to, pay all this stuff, then yeah, of course I would pay it, because then it's a legal debt. It's lawful.
I mean, it's a good way to fight fire with fire, but essentially you're banking on a clerical vulnerability between, like, for example, the transition between Wachovia and Chase to where they didn't properly transition over the physical document that you signed, or if you didn't physically sign a document.